One thing I love to do near where I live, near the Clackamas River, is go steelhead fishing.
What about crawdads?
Well, there's crawdads there too, Russ. I found out just a few weeks ago, actually, because I'm always reading about fishing, that a steelhead is not really the name of a fish. It's the name of the people that fish for them. Because who else would sit in a boat in January in Oregon in the middle of the rain for 8 hours and just watch murky brown water float by and without getting a bite come home and say, "That was a lot of fun." Steel. But one day I was fishing with Jack, a buddy of mine, an old timer who lives right on the Clackamas River, and he knows all the fishing holes. And one day we went out fishing in January. I cast out and boom, like that, I reeled in, true story, 17-pound fish. That is a big steelhead. It's not a big salmon, but that is a big steelhead. And it was flopping on the bank, and I did what you gotta do. I pulled out my big steelhead club, and I reared back. And old Jack said, no. That's not the kind of steelhead you just cut up for supper. Let's take him home and keep him alive. I got an idea. That was the most dangerous thing my buddy Jack could have. We took the steelhead home. Now, Jack lives right on the river. He's got a huge woodshed. He eats all winter long with nothing but fir and alder and oak. And out by his woodshed, he has a rain barrel that is 6 feet wide and 5 feet deep. And all winter, all that rain pours off of his shed into the rain barrel, and all summer long he uses that water to water his garden. And beside his garden, he has a huge compost pile, so about 6 feet tall. Now, we took the steelhead home, emptied out the cooler, put the fish in the cooler, filled it with river water, brought home, put the fish into the rain barrel. And that's where he lived. One day, about a month later, I get a call. This is how Jack calls up. "Come here, I got something to show you." I go over to Jack's place. He says, "Watch this." We walk out to the rain barrel. First he goes to the compost pile to get some worms. You always got worms when you get a compost pile. He holds the worms over the rain barrel. The steelhead surfaces, grabs the worms out of his hands. Jack reaches in, pulls the fish out of the rain barrel. Now, it's in the morning. The grass is still wet with the dew. He puts the steelhead down onto the grass, backs up about 3 feet, holds the worms down. And that fish, he slithered about 3 feet. Now, I've seen this with carp before. Carp can slither all over the place. If you get a flooded cornfield off the river, you can see carp slithering through the cornfield. But I've never seen a steelhead do this. But the steelhead just went whirr, came right over to Jack, gave him the worms. He did this every day for 5 months. And every day he'd move him back a little bit. By July, the thing was coming to us from 20 feet away. One day, I'm out there and Jack does this. He says, "You know what? That fish is so smart. He's so adaptable. I bet he could breathe. I bet he could learn how to breathe air." I said, "What?" Jack said, "Hey, it's worth a try." So he starts emptying cups of water out of the rain barrel all summer long. By October, the thing is living in 5 inches of water. And every day, when he moves them onto the lawn to slither through the grass, he has them live beneath the sprinkler for about 2 minutes. Just puts them there and but I wasn't prepared for this. One day I got a call. "Come here, I got something to show you." So I go over to Jack's place. Walk out by the woodshed, there's the rain barrel, there's the steel head laying beneath the sprinkler. Jack goes to the compost pile. He gets a big gobble of worms. And I'll never forget this. He says, "Get it." "Get it." "Come on, see." The fish jumped up, balanced itself on its tail, tail. Just for a second. He says, that thing just kind of, just for a few inches. I said, Jack, I was just joking. I says, Jack, you got a walking fish. He goes, all serious. Oh, he's not walking that good. And then he says, the first steelhead, it wasn't bad. Well, one day he says, hey, you know what we ought to do with that steelhead? What's that? Take him steelhead fishing. What? You know, who'd know more about steelhead fishing? Big old, my point exactly. Next day, now you've seen drift boats before, probably, right? They're big, long rowboats, and they got real wide, big, tall sides, especially if they're going down kind of rapid rivers, you know. We got a lot of them on the Clackamas River. Now, we have a drift boat. Jack and I bought a drift boat together, a big Willie's drift boat, about a 16-footer, and the steelhead loved to stand up in the front. Now, we'd keep water bottles trained on him, but he would just kind of stand up there. He didn't know a lick about steelhead. He loved to go. And we took him every day. Don, I'm trying to get a serious story. And he just kind of rocked back and forth. He loved going fishing. But one day we were drifting down the Clackamas, and the wind, which can happen, kicked up hard out of the south, and it just whistled up the river, rocked the drift boat, and the poor thing lost his. And he just into the Clackamas, away he went. And I'll never forget what old Jack said. Jack, he said, doggone. Uh-oh. He forgot how to swim. I looked over the side of the boat. The fish was in about 10 feet of water. Looking up at Jack and I, kind of like this. He said, Jack forgot how to swim. He's drowning. Oh no, I was afraid that might happen. We better go down there and get him or he's going to die. Jack says, how about you? Well, I'm standing in the drift boat. I didn't want to jump into the Clackamas River. It's cold water, but I did. I jumped in. Where's that fish? Where'd he go? There he is. Grabbed the fish. I went swimming up. But the current of the Clackamas, which is a substantial current, it caught me and started just pulling me downriver faster and faster and faster. But I was able to hold on to my steelhead. Jack saw what was happening. He pulled anchor on the drift boat, and he rowed as swiftly as he could. He got downriver in front of us. Just as he dropped anchor and turned this way, I went sliding by, and I was able to hoist up that big steel head, and Jack got an arm around me, pulled him up and up and up over the gunnel of the drift boat, and right onto the floorboards there. He'd been underwater a long time, though. Well, he nearly drowned, but Jack, of course, knew mouth to gill resuscitation. David, I'm under the impression that a lot of people here have not yet learned mouth to gill resuscitation. Now, in Oregon, that's a standard in the 3rd grade. So, in my effort to leave no child or adult behind, I'm going to teach you mouth to gill resuscitation. Okay? Now, this is a lifelong learning skill, so, and we're going to do it experientially for all you kinesthetic learners. Okay, so step number 1, everybody: hands by the gills. Now, I can see a few of you. Deborah right here, she saved a lot of fish in her life. That's a beautiful form, Deborah. Step number 2, hands on your steelhead's gills. Very good. Now, back here, I heard this. Don't traumatize your fish. Now, that's the only deal. Very good. Let me see. Pretty good. Now, Janet, you're getting a little bit into excessive gill pressure. Janet, I don't care where you're fishing. You could be fishing the Fraser River, the Pacific Ocean. You're going to find fish with lips that look like this. All because of some well-meaning guilty foreign, Janet. Fishing person that flies from the It look nice and soft. Let me see. Yeah. Once you have the gill covers of your steelhead securely fastened, you're ready for the third step, the final step, the most important step. Now firmly, but gently, place your lips over your steelhead's lips. That's what you gotta do. That's what Jack and I did. And take a look at this. We brought our steelhead right back to, and of course spent the rest of the summer teaching the crazy thing how to swim. Every day we go out to the lawn, which is pretty much where he lived now, beneath the every day we'd pick him up and put him in the rain barrel. Oops. Which was empty. And every day we'd add a few cups of water. By the last day of vacation, he could swim. We put him in the drift boat and drifted down the Clackamas. Old Jack dropped anchor. And I'll never forget that day. He picked up that big steelhead. And old Jack, he said, "Good fish, good boy." And old Jack, he just let that big old fish slide out of his arms and right across the gunnel of the drift boat. And he just went, boom, into the Clackamas. And we watched this. Downriver he went. That was the last time Jack or I ever saw that particular steelhead. That was the last day of my summer vacation 3 years ago. And that is the truest story a steelhead fisherman will probably ever tell. Thank you.